Tell us about where you started with the chamber and membership and where you are today.
So when I started at the chamber, I honestly cannot tell you how many members we had because there were two databases and nobody knew what was going in which one. I think I calculated it was somewhere around 230
Hmm.
members that we had at that time. Since then, we acquired the new Tampa Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
In 2018, we acquired what was then called the Trinity Odessa Chamber of Commerce. So at that point, we had to change our name. We couldn't just be the Wesley Chapel Chamber of Commerce
Right.
anymore. And so today we are at 650 members
That's
strong
beautiful.
in our organization. Yeah, it's been really fun to watch. Obviously, you have natural attrition. Some businesses go out of business. They run their cycle. It's really fun to see. We've got businesses that have been here 20 years
Mm.
in Wesley Chapel, and the community's only 20 years old. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting.
Yeah. So your function has included a lot of going to many social events, engaging political, sitting with board members and meetings and finding out what the growth is going to be and how you can help your members. And I mean, how do you do it? That's a lot.
I ask myself that pretty much every day. I will go from a conversation over coffee to a board meeting to another meeting. So yeah, it's a lot. It's time management and just
Mhm.
managing all of these things. Thank God I think I have like this weird brain where all of these pieces are floating around and then all of a sudden at one point during the day they all come together. I'm like, oh, there's that chamber magic. That just happens. So it's obviously time management is a huge thing. My chamber is my social life, so kind of both. Get two for one.
Sure.
And I get fed through the chamber. I call it chamber meal plan because I feel like I have every meal with chamber people. But I don't know if I could articulate exactly how I do it. It's just in me,
Hmm.
and I can't tell people like what I do on a daily basis or how I keep track of my time management
Right.
or any of that. It just happens and it naturally flows, and I don't know how it happened. It just did. And
So you are a director
mhm,
and you have a board,
mhm,
but you are an entrepreneur
yep,
in that it is your baby.
it
It
is.
doesn't work without you.
It doesn't, but I hope that I have positioned the organization that it will work without me when it is time for me to exit stage left. I absolutely don't want to be a seat filler and just be here for a paycheck. I want to
Sure.
continue to make a difference in the lives of our business community, but when that time comes, I hope that it will. Actually, I don't hope. I know it will
Yeah.
because I've watched it before. I took a month off in 2019 and I came back and look, it was still there. Everything was still rolling. It was great. So my goal and my job is to ensure that the future can run even better than what it does today. But yes, I'm very much an entrepreneur. I have to look at the numbers every day. I've got to,
Hmm.
figure out what investments are going to be good, whether it's time, resources, and really be future thinking. I
Right.
can't think about today. Everything we're talking about is for next week, next month,
Right.
next
Yeah.
year, whatever the case may be. So Robin, I can't tell you how I do it. It just kind of happens. I tell everybody that I get wound up in the morning and somebody just points me in the right direction. And
We were talking previously with someone that said that entrepreneurs are the highest for depression and anxiety issues.
I'm not shocked. I'm on medication for, all of that stuff and high
Right.
blood pressure and
Right.
bad
Exactly.
eating habits because I eat in my car. So yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, totally.
But it fuels your soul in a different way, I
Hmm.
think. It's something that's just it's in you.
Right.
And I get my cup filled by other people.
Hmm.
And the when I see business succeed and be thriving and doing, ribbon cuttings, just that's a true testament to someone's resilience and someone's investment in the community, and that just
Sure.
feeds me. So I get
Yeah.
I get a lot of it from others.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to be co-hosting a job fair together.
Yes, we are. I'm so excited.
Yes, and that is exactly one of those things is that it benefits each of ourselves by the fuel of helping someone
Mhm.
else because it's not a monetary benefit to either of our entities. It's more about how can we help others in the community to thrive and do more. And tell us a little bit about your involvement in job fair and what you've done previously to lead to this point.
Yeah, so we've hosted probably a job fair every year, just different iterations.
Mhm.
We haven't had one since COVID. I like to say BC and AC, so it's before COVID and after COVID. And they've usually been around various projects.
Mhm.
For example, Metro Development, we hosted one when they were starting the lagoons.
Mhm.
It was a lot of construction jobs and home builder and things of that nature. So, as a chamber, we have to be very responsive to what's happening in our community and what the business community needs. And right now, they need talent. They need a good workforce, but there's different layers to that now than what there was before.
Right.
So the job fairs of the past, where you walk in, you sign in, get all your stuff, go see, maybe get a call back. What we're trying to accomplish here is more of that interpersonal relationship
Correct.
so that you can truly see the person who's walking in and seeing what they have to offer. They may come in for something completely different. They think they're going to make a beeline to, I want to work for the architect. And then they
Mhm.
end up with the pool guy upstairs because they essentially can do the same job. It's just a different thing. So just expanding
Mhm.
people's vision. The coolest job fair we've ever done was for the outlets, Tampa Premium Outlets, when they were coming to town. We couldn't, there was nowhere in Pasco to even host it. So we had to take it down to USF by Busch Gardens.
Mhm.
So there were 500 jobs, okay, for all of the retailers that were coming. We were starting at 8 a.m. I got there at 7:15. There was already a line of people waiting to apply for these jobs. I think we had a counter, it was close to 3,000 people that showed up for 500 jobs.
That's awesome.
It was so incredibly cool to watch that and then watch these people get interviews. Some were walking it. It was like
Mhm.
watching American Idol and they were getting the golden ticket. It was
Yeah,
just really
yeah.
cool to see that people were hired on the spot. So our chamber has been engaged in job fairs before. And I think this one's going to be really intimately, I keep hitting this mic, sorry. It's going to be really intimately personal so that we can get to know the job seekers as well as the
Mhm.
businesses. It's an opportunity for me to see what other businesses are here in the building. It's an opportunity for them to see me.
Right.
Whether or not a job gets had, we're still making those connections.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with the growth in the county in this area that there's quite a few that we are now going to be going to employers or potential employers on what they're looking for
Right.
because they don't know that's happening.
Hmm.
And so it's something that we felt there was a need
Hmm.
and we don't see it happening anywhere else currently. So we wanted to be able to facilitate it and have a location that is amenable to it, have interview rooms,
Yep.
places where people can have that personal connection and meaningful moments, not just, oh, here's my application and throw it in a pile
Right.
aspect of it.
No, we want there to be some results, some good results, whether it's
Yeah.
relationship. And you guys do a great job at thinking ahead of what the business community needs. And that's what really sets this place apart as well, as being able to give those services not only to the tenants here,
Hmm.
but also getting other people to walk through and see what's happening. And I brought my daughter with me today and she goes, "This place is so cool. I could work here." And I go, "Sweetie, they're all different companies." And she's like, "What, really?" Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all different. So
That
it's
Yeah.
really
reminds me of
cool.
a story. We did a Great American Teach-In
Uh-huh.
one year. I think it was after year after COVID, like 2021,
Yeah.
and we were explaining to the kids like what we do to try to explain to a bunch of middle schoolers like what we do is kind of the most challenging thing you could probably ask us. Of like what, they're sixth graders, seventh graders?
Yep. They are middle schoolers,
Yeah.
sixth
So
graders.
they were
Yeah.
like nothing makes sense to them, pretty much type thing. Everything makes sense, but nothing makes sense.
No.
And we're like, you can't just tell them a bunch of businesses work in our building. You'll just lose them instantly.
Hmm.
Like you
How'd you
can't.
make it fun? Because I bombed on that. Try telling them about the chamber.
Fair, fair.
We
We
could do that together.
we ended up basically using Monopoly money and playing like a game of life. And so we'd each give them like a lump sum of money. And basically we would ask them, so who wants to, you can either drive or take a bike to work. It's $5 for a car, $2 for a bike.
For example.
Or
yeah.
you can walk,
What a novel idea.
right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, and basically like getting
You want to own a house? You want to rent a house?
So-
You want,
and we took the angle of like owning your own business or
Yeah.
owning your own
Right.
income, right? And like for them to like kind of understand like what their parents do. So we try to put it in context of like your parents come to our building to work, right? And it was we couldn't add in like event space, meeting rooms, because like then you're kind of like
Oh,
losing
you're
them and-
gonna lose them.
yeah. But and then we have like treatment rooms, and we told them like what we have and the amenities, and like one girl like looked at us like we were aliens. She goes, she had a question. We were like, and she raised her hand. Her question was, she goes, so somebody does eyebrows for a living?
Right?
And she was like dumbfounded
Right.
by the fact that you could do that for money.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like we have massage therapists, we have people that do makeup,
Tattoo
like,
artists, yeah.
and like there's just so many kids that like are completely disillusioned as like what is quantified as a job.
Sure.
Right.
We went to teach them and they wound up teaching us.
Oh, isn't that fabulous?
And that was amazing because
Yeah.
it's so eye-opening to know. And then you realize there's a need. So we would like to fulfill a need. And this part of our future plans too is to how do we come in and help school children, young age, middle school age, high school age, in that career path, right? And how do you find what you're meant to do? There's so much pressure right now on you must know what you're going to do by the time you grow up. You've got to take these tests and do this and excel here. And you've got to have it all mapped up by the end of middle school. Deer in the headlights,
Right?
like,
And
what am
then
I
And we
doing?
wonder why our kids are having mental health crises in their
Right.
senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is such a cool thought. And let me tell you that the chamber will stand beside you and try and help you figure that out, because those are our leaders of the next generation. And I get what you're talking about. You did a really good job with Monopoly money. I just broke out the great big ribbon cutting scissors and did a ribbon cutting. I was like, all right, cool. I can't.
You know what? The kids, they were clever. We had one, we're like, oh, he's going to be an entrepreneur. You could just see it all over him. He asked every question like, well, I don't want to own a house. I'm going to live with my brother. How much does that cost me?
Let's tear that dollar in half.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
You know,
You know, the kids
you
are
know?
so fascinating.
Oh, they were. It's
I
like
love it.
one girl says, I don't need a bike. I don't need a car. I'm going to walk. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want a cell phone? Yeah. Well, you need Wi-Fi. You need service.
Mhm.
No.
Mhm.
How
why
you
do
going to
you
get
need a
it?
phone?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. See, we had to ask more questions and then
Y'all,
they
that
came
would-
up with
that's
answers.
Brilliant. Just go to the schools and play the game of life, and we can start picking out our future leaders right there.
Instantaneously. And this one boy, I mean, he had an answer for everything. And he wound up with the most money at the end. He had figured out how
I
to
think he was also making
save.
deals on the side too.
I think he
like,
was too.
he was
I
making
love
deals.
that. What's his number?
He was a
I
little
need him.
hustler.
Yeah.
Like,
He was like, you can have my mobile phone.
yeah, he goes,
He
I'll
was
sell you
like,
my mobile phone.
$7 instead
Like,
of $5.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Brilliant.
But
I love it.
and it's something that it really like I was watching something the other day, and basically it was like an artist, I think it was Rick Rubin. He goes, I think there should be a separation between like an artist and their work. Like if you're anyone that's in like creating stuff,
Mhm.
you should have a 9-to-5 job. You need that separation. And it's basically that like but you can have your job in the industry that you like.
Mhm.
You don't, just because you're an artist or a creative doesn't mean like you have to be jobless.
Mm-mm.
Like, and it's this whole like misconception of like people think they're like, oh, I'd have to go sell insurance. It's like, well, yeah, you can go sell a different kind of insurance. You can go sell airplane insurance because you like planes.
Right.
Like,
Get in where you fit
you know?
in. Find your
Like,
niche.
And it's very much, I think, this disillusion of that, which like really makes certain areas stagnant. And it's like, well, we were always in the agriculture business, so we're staying in the agriculture business. And it's just kind of like, that's great, but like maybe you like a certain part of agriculture and you want to go into get a steady job, but you still want to be part of it. Like, you know, there's different little niches that you could then grow a whole industry in an area.
Like attorneys who represent the agriculture business when they get bad seeds.
Yeah.
You're like, what of a net? We met a guy. All he does, literally all he does, is buy and sell
Timberland.
timberland. That's all he does.
Okay.
And but he loves being outside, and it appeals to him. But you realize there's so many like these niche
Gotta go
jobs.
check and see if there's any bugs on the trees
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
Yeah, and
that.
he can tell you all kinds of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
See, there's something for everybody. You just find it, and
Mhm.
if it's not there, make it.
Yeah.
Because there's chances are somebody's gonna need your
Like
services.
Ocala's a
Yeah.
perfect example.
Yes.
Like
Oh, Ocala,
Ocala was
yeah.
nothing, and they're like, oh, we're really good with horses, so let's become the horsing capital of the world.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's some mega money in that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
exciting up
Yeah.
there too. So
Yeah, they built that whole equestrian center.
Yeah.
It's an
out of nowhere. I mean, it was just like all of a sudden,
yeah.
pop.
And-
That's happened in my
yeah,
lifetime.
and it's stuff like that. I can see like stuff like that happen in Pasco, and
Yeah.
like there is going to be some kind of, I think, a bigger catalyst that sent, because people forget Pasco County is the largest county in Florida by landmass,
Yes.
by
It's
square
bigger than
footage.
Duval. Yeah.
Yeah, and which equals opportunity.
Absolutely.
And most of that land is not touched,
Yep.
untouched, or it's protected due to preserves, rightfully so.
Mhm.
But majority of it not developed, not lived on, never been touched. Right?
And as you said, you can have very good land stewards who handle that well and develop
Yes,
it well.
There is a way to incorporate it all. And if it's done right, we will leave a legacy, and our children will, and our grandchildren will be here and say, I love this place. I love the way it's made. You can kind of look at Brandon and say, oh my God, don't ever build a city like Brandon,
Mhm.
because they've got a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I think what we've done up here and what we will continue to do up here will keep that from happening, and just being those good land stewards.
Yeah.
And so it's important.
It is. Brandon's got issues, obviously. It's at a crossroads of highways. It was a natural logistics center
Correct.
location. And because of that, that grew from it.
Yeah.
And
then
it didn't necessarily grow planned ahead.
In
It
the
grew
right-
because of need
in
right
the
now.
right directions. Correct. And I think that that's so important as leaders in this community,
Mhm.
that we make sure that we're watching that and we're paying attention to that,
Mhm.
and we can see where different things are starting to go sideways. And I can appreciate people's opinion about, the car washes and the mini storage, but at the same time, come with a solution. Don't just come with the problem.
Yeah. And it's very much like we've even thought about in our next builds maybe incorporating storage units.
Mhm.
And like these master developers, maybe they incorporate storage units into
Because
their,
they're great investments.
and
They really are.
and it
They
really
are.
is, and it's one of the things.
I mean, why not have a parking garage that has storage units?
Exactly. Come on, let's
mean,
again
Yeah.
come with
Use
a
your
solution.
land.
Yeah.
So that you're going vertical,
Yep.
but you're utilizing it so that it does both functions.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be one or the other. We saw a building down in St. Pete we looked at once that has a basement, which is unusual to have a basement in our area anyway. But the fact that it was an old bank building, they used it and they converted it into a storage unit that they rent out in that basement. And then the top floors, the 3 floors, are all office
Mhm.
buildings, suites. But it was brilliant thought process because there's a need. People
Right.
need the storage. So why not utilize a space that's not, it's just decrepit and not doing anything, and convert it into something that not only does it provide income for the building owner, but it also serves a purpose for the community without having to build a whole nother structure
Correct.
on site.
Correct. So it's just getting, creative
Mm-hmm.
in what you're doing, and how you can be future thinking. People don't think about parking, and surface parking.
Mhm.
Can't do it anymore. You've got to go up.
Yeah.
And just getting people comfortable with that. And what else can you add in there? You can add the solar at the very top that powers the whole thing.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's just a matter of finding a solution.
Right.
There's always going to be a problem.
So what's the end goal for Hope?
What's the end goal for me?
Yeah.
Today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's end goal is just to make it to Friday so that I can have the weekend to recharge. No, my end goal in life is just to contribute back to a community and a society that shaped me. My end goal, I don't think I'll ever quit working. I'll do it for free at some point. I think I pretty much have my whole career, but nonetheless, I don't have an end goal. There's no end
You don't
for
see
me.
it ending.
No, I don't think I'll ever end. I do want to be, positioned where I can travel.
Mhm.
Travel, I think, just makes everybody better humans.
Enlightens. It opens
does.
worlds.
It opens. It just gives you so
Mhm.
many different experiences, whether it's good travel or bad travel. it's still there. But
Mhm.
I think I'll be doing what I do until the day I am no longer here. And I
Love
just
it.
want to leave a good legacy
I
for
like it.
my grandkids that I can't wait to have. That's my end goal. I want grandkids. But my daughter's only 18, so I gotta be patient.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah,
I know, right?
don't say
I
it too
know.
loud yet.
Thank
You might get
you.
it sooner than you need
Yeah,
or want.
Yeah. Oh my God, no. She's a good kid. But,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, Hope, for being guest with us
Thank
today.
you for letting me chat with you. I love talking. Obviously, I could talk about anything, but I do love chamber, and I love watching businesses like yours grow and prosper. And I know some days are very challenging, and some things are very challenging. Just
Some
keep
days
up
are, but
stay the
others are
course.
not.
Stay the course. It's
Absolutely.
going to pay dividends, and you guys are doing a wonderful thing here, and your services are very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
You too.
Thank you.